My grandparents were two of the cheapest people I've ever known, and I mean that as a compliment. My grandparents' families were poor before the Great Depression, so they keenly felt this global economic downturn. My grandmother's family was lucky to have fried potatoes and cottage cheese, though this is all they often had to eat, and my grandfather dropped out of school after the 8th grade because he had to go to work picking cotton and watermelon. These financial struggles affected my grandparents for the rest of their lives. After they got married, they both took low-income jobs in a factory. Yet they stretched their dollars to get the most for their money, and they saved their pennies for a rainy day. My grandmother bought generics over store brands and reused Oleo containers to store leftovers. But she was frivolous compared to my grandfather. My grandfather was so cheap that my family said he could squeeze blood out of a nickel. As a child, I laughed at how cheap my grandparents were, but now that I'm an adult who has lived through the Great Recession and other financial bumps in the road, I understand and appreciate their miserly ways. In fact, I've adopted some of their frugal hacks, and I use the savings to live in the lap of luxury. When your mustard squeeze bottle seems empty, do you unscrew the cap and scrape out the rest with a table knife? Do you tear off the corners of paper towels to clean up tiny spills instead of using full or half sheets? My grandparents did, and I do too. I turn honey jars upside down in bowls to force the remnants to drip out, even if I'm only able to collect enough to top one more piece of toast. I also cut off the tops of face wash tubes and scoop out enough face wash to last 1 or 2 more days. These may seem like little things, but imagine if I were able to get a couple more servings out of every maple syrup bottle and a few more uses out of every hand soap dispenser. Even if this practice only saved me $50 over my lifetime, that would be $50 I could spend on something fun, like going out to a nice dinner with my husband, or something essential like buying another bag of groceries. Dumpster diving is nothing new. It has been around for ages. In the 1970s and 80s, my grandfather salvaged several old bicycles, a toy racetrack, and all sorts of things he cleaned up and sold in his yard sales for pure profit. I did not inherit my grandfather's tolerance for filth or his tinkering skills, but I've rescued a few items from ending up in landfills nonetheless. I pulled a boxed set of 3 hardcover data visualization books, which I sold on Facebook Marketplace for $5, out of a relatively clean dumpster containing primarily paper in broken down boxes. I rescued a perfectly good muffin pan, which I now use, that had been discarded by the recycle bins in my Chicago high-rise. In addition, I sell items that I get for free. I recently sold a free coffee maker for $15, and I sold a used computer that I'd been given for $250. Making $5 from a dumpster dive may not seem worth the effort, but $5 can buy a 3-pack of paper towels. Personally, I would rather spend the $5 from a dumpster recovery than my hard-earned money to buy household essentials. I would rather spend my money on weekend getaways. Selling stuff I get for free simply makes sense. Because my grandparents were so cheap, they suffered some missed opportunity costs. My grandfather complained that the less expensive brand of butter pecan ice cream skimped on the number of pecans. But he would not spend 50 cents more on the premium brand, for example. Too extreme for me. Therefore, I learned something else from my Depression-era grandparents. Live frugally but luxuriously. With the money I save using my grandparents' frugal hacks, I buy tiny lobster tails when they are on sale for $4 each, and I wear a strand of $30 cultured pearls. I may pack a lunch to save $10 a day, but I'll never settle for substandard ice cream. I have my standards after all. My grandparents survived financial troubles because they used their heads. Thus, I know that though inflation may rise now and the stock market will surely plunge in the future, my grandparents' frugal living tips will help me weather the economic storms. I hope they will help you and your family as well.